That's going to be his choice. I hope he makes the right one.
And if he makes that choice, is he invited to Thanksgiving dinner?
Fuck no.
Welcome back to the Unrestricted, folks.
Hi.
Hey, Bob.
Hi.
Hey, Wally. How are you two?
Hi, Jefferson.
Man, every week when we get in here, it feels like things take diametric shifts. When last we met, the Nuggets were in complete control and looked like they were just going to waltz through. I think we all picked them in this room to get through to the Western Conference Finals.
No.
And yes.
No.
Yes, you did.
I picked Minnesota.
No, you didn't.
Picked Minnesota to win this series. Yes, I did.
Not when they were up 3-2.
No, but I picked them originally. Wait a minute now. I picked them in the series, and I would not have picked them even in Game 7 when they were down 20. But nevertheless, I picked Minnesota to win this series. I thought Minnesota had more talent on the floor than Denver did.
Well, they do. They did.
Yeah.
What happened it was a great weekend of Game 7s, by the way, starting Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Sorry, that was a Game 6 in the Mavs series, but nonetheless, you had 2 Game 7s on Sunday. It was an awesome sports weekend. Let's start with the Minnesota-Denver fiasco. Let's call it what it is, man. That's a choke. You're up 20 on your home floor in a Game 7, and you lose it essentially by 10, a 30-point turnaround in the second half. You can't allow that. And if it were LeBron James, we'd kill him. But it's Jokic, so we probably won't.
Yeah, but Jokic, I understand that thought process too. But Jokic is the defending champ, so he gets a honeymoon period. Listen, if they don't show up again next year and have the same issues, well, then you can kill him. But you can't kill Jokic and
Can I kill Jamal Murray? Because he wilted like a flower.
Okay, if you want to.
Okay. I mean, let's call it what it was. It was a full-on choke. They had that game in their back pockets. They were in control, and they lost control in front of their home crowd. That does not usually happen in Game 7s.
Minnesota, shouldn't have been down 20 to begin with. You can't have that happen to you.
Well, that's kind of the issue with Minnesota is they're streaky in their offense. They're very, very good defensively, but they're streaky in their offense. And when it started going really, really good. And it wasn't going, it was going really, really bad.
Yeah, I wonder why you're pushing back on this.
Pushing back on what?
On that it was a full-on choke job.
Okay, it was a full-on choke job. Okay, great.
Okay. All right.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
We've come to that conclusion.
Well,
but they should have never been down by 20 to begin with. You can't do that. But I think what has happened now is Minnesota obviously comes back from that, and they've gained something, and they will beat Dallas in the Western Conference Finals.
I don't think they're going to beat him. I think they're going to kill him, frankly.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a close series at all.
T-Wolves got home court. I think they're definitely ready. They will beat Dallas.
Absolutely. I think, Minnesota's bigs are going to be a real problem at the rim for Luka and Kyrie. I think that makes it really hard for them. Look, the Mavs are going to live and die by shooting 35 threes a night. And so they'll probably win a game, maybe even 2, based on some hot three-point shooting. But at the end of the day, Minnesota's just the better team. And they're favored in that series, as they should be.
And it seems like they're, at least from the press conferences after the game, their players are looser and more energized and ebullient.
Do you find yourself interested in the Wolves, kind of digging the way the Wolves are? Because I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Anthony Edwards is a refreshing personality. There's no LeBron James contrived personality every time the microphone turns on for him.
No, he's just him.
He's just him, and you can tell. He's actually having fun being the alpha of all alphas in the NBA. He's loving it.
Did you see
his post-game comments were terrific to watch.
Did you see his comments when what was it? Was it after Game 5 when he was leaving the locker room? He was telling the locker room staff in Denver, "Yeah, we'll see you we'll see you in a little bit."
Yeah, and that's some bravado, but it's also that's just like him. He's a 21-year-old amazing athlete who knows it, and has some arrogance about it. I'm
Yeah, see,
good
now,
with that.
if he was
But healthy arrogance.
if he played for the Indiana Pacers, he would actually wear the sweatshirt of Reggie Miller choke thing. He would wear it going into the game rather than the Indiana Pacer guy that wore it after the game. Was it? I think it was Halliburton. Halliburton wore a sweatshirt after Game 7 the other day with the Reggie Miller choke thing on the sweatshirt. Now, of course, he did not wear that going into the game.
Yeah.
Because he's a pussy.
Yeah, if he'd had the balls, he would have done it before.
So, going back to my original point, Anthony Edwards would have worn that sweatshirt going into the game.
Got it.
Rather than after the game.
No, I really enjoy watching Minnesota, and I am surprised to look down at the odds of winning it all. Do you have any idea? Have you guys looked at the odds for winning it all?
I saw them this morning, and the
Pacers
Celtics are prohibitive.
Celtics are minus 170.
Yep.
And the Pacers are the last.
Plus 2,500, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
But the Wolves are plus 250. I think that might be worth a look for me.
I would bet the money on if you're making me bet money, I'm betting it on the Pacers.
Why?
What? To win the whole thing?
Yes, because the Pacers got good. I think the Pacers are 70. Is it 75 to 1? I forget what the hell their number
What are
is.
you talking about? To win it all?
Yeah, to win it all.
21.
They have to win at least one, if not both, of the first two games with Porzingis out right now and not coming back till Game 3.
I would agree with that.
I mean, that's how the Pacers have got here. They have beat depleted teams.
I want to know why Walter is valuing the Pacers so high. Is it just because the odds are good, or is it because you like the Pacers that much?
Both of them.
Okay.
Both of those
Because
reasons. The odds are really good. So listen, I don't bet to win $20. I bet to make a nice, a nice package of cash.
Okay.
And the Pacers are a good team, unless you didn't watch the game, because that's certainly possible. Listen, if you're undervaluing the Pacers, that's probably because you didn't watch the game, because you hate the Knicks. I get it.
Oh, God, woe is me. Speaking of woe is me.
That's not woe is me. That's not the
happened?
truth. That's the absolute truth. Everybody in San Antonio couldn't wait for the Knicks to get the hell out of the playoffs.
But I watch wanting the Knicks to lose. I never miss a Knicks game.
Oh, I didn't say you.
Okay, because I love watching them lose. What the fuck happened to your Knicks, man?
Have you not watched?
What happened to them?
They got no players
They
left.
took a
You could have
shit.
played. You could have played for them.
They took a shit on their home floor.
They
the
did
whole
not.
Madison Square Garden.
Nobody
crowd.
on none of their players are healthy. What are you kidding?
They've been doing that for 3 previous weeks and done just fine. And when it mattered most, they took a dump.
They did not take a dump.
Yes, they did.
First of all, they're better than Indiana. We all know that. And Tibbs, for you amateurs out there who think you know what the hell you're talking about, you don't. Tibbs was not to blame. He was not the problem here playing all these minutes. First of all, Julius Randle got hurt months ago. Got hurt in January. And you got Anunoby, who has never been healthy in his career, gets hurt even before he gets to the Knicks. And then he gets hurt again. So it had nothing to do with Tibbs. And then, and the people who said, well, Brunson, by the time Brunson broke his hand and the game was over, you're wrong again.
Oh.
When Brunson got hurt, they were down 7.
I thought it was pretty over myself.
Well, once again, you're wrong. 7. They were down 7 when he hurt his hand. 7 in the third quarter.
The Knicks didn't win a single quarter in that game.
No. Okay, I'm going to push back a little bit on something.
They ran out of gas.
There is some validity to the reputation that Tom Thibodeau has of pushing his guys too far and playing them too big.
Thibodeau, by the way. It's T-H. Thibodeau. Not Thibodeau. Just
It's
telling
Thibodeau.
you. No, it's Thibodeau.
No, it's not. It's pronounced with a hard T.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like Matisse Thybulle, which is T-H.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's an NBA basketball player. You don't know who he is.
God damn, I missed him.
God.
It's pterodactyl, right?
Yes.
He does push his players too far, and he does play them too many minutes. I mean, that
Says who?
Says me. I've watched it for his whole career.
Huh?
He now in this series, he had to play these guys extreme minutes. He just didn't have anybody else on the roster that could take those minutes because he was so banged up. But I'm not saying that those injuries, that he caused those injuries. I will agree with you on that point. He did not cause the
No,
injuries.
it was a string of bad luck for the Knicks coming into the playoffs. And I mean, let's just call it what it was. Call the season a success. When they come back next year and they're healthy, they will be a force to be reckoned with in the East.
I think they'll be good, of course. Yeah.
See, then you have guys like Draymond Green who says the injuries are no excuse for the playoff elimination for the Knicks. It's just asinine.
How can Draymond Green say that?
I don't know. Here's the other point about this series. There was a lot of bitching that was going on over the last couple of days about the amount of coverage the Knicks got during the game on the ESPN the other day. Well, here's the facts about this. If you want Stephen A. Smith, a black man, to be the face of your network, that's going to happen.
Why?
I mean,
Because he's black?
No, because he's Stephen A. freaking Smith. He's a Knicks fan. What did you think he was going to do? Of course, it's all about the Knicks.
Well,
are you that stupid?
No. I mean,
Are people that stupid?
It's also the reality of and I've said this about the Cowboys, and I'll say this about the Knicks. The NBA is more interesting to the casual fan when the Knicks are in contention. It's the Cowboys.
I mean, that.
The Cowboys get outsized coverage for how they play. Do they or do they not?
They do.
Okay. Same thing with the Knicks because they're a New York team.
What does Stephen A. being black have to do with any of that? I'm sorry. I have to come back. I don't get
trying
it.
to move on from there.
I'm not. I got to go back.
No, because you had a couple of black sports writers up in the Dallas area bitching and moaning about how this was such a one-sided pregame show. It was all Knicks. Well, you know what? Then we'll get that white fat ass Stan Van Gundy to be the face of ESPN. You want that instead? All right, then shut the fuck up.
I like Stan Van Gundy. Why are you shitting on Stan Van
Because
Gundy?
Stan Van Gundy hates New York. He hates the Knicks, and it was very clear in the broadcasts. He's terrible.
He's
but if you
good.
No, he's
He's
not.
my favorite guy on the broadcasts in years.
They got rid of the best guy they had in Jeff Van Gundy. But anyway, the point is, if you're going to make Stephen A. Smith the face of your network, and ESPN, there's no question about that he is the face of that network, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get Knicks. You're going to get over-the-top Knicks. And what could you possibly expect?
Because he's a New Yorker. I get it. And it's
True.
like Greeny covering the Jets all the time.
Absolutely
on First
right.
Take.
Absolutely right.
But the difference is the Jets are never going to factor into a championship discussion.
Don't be so sure the
Did you
Knicks
hear
will.
about
Can you do
Did
me
you
a
hear
favor
about
on
the
your
49ers
computer?
bus it crashed today, and all of them were in it. Oh, sorry.
Can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Look up where is Stephen A. Smith from? Because I think he was born in Texas. Okay,
Everybody's born in Texas.
I'm pretty sure because he claims Texas. Like I grew up in Texas. He claims it whenever he makes it convenient.
No, I think he was born in the Bronx. I think Bronx.
He
New
was
York.
born in the Bronx. He was raised in the Hollis section of Queens.
Well, then where does he get to Texas? Why does he always do that?
I don't know.
Here's my question with that.
Sure.
And this is off a tangent. Why do the golfers claim Texas when they get announced at the golf course, even though they weren't born there?
Like whom? Who are you thinking
Like
of?
everyone.
Oh, because they live here.
Yeah, but why would you?
It's just like Tiger Woods claiming Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. I mean, he's
Why
not
do they
from
Why do they
Florida.
do that? Aren't they?
Tax purposes.
Yeah, no,
No.
he's right. He's right.
They
That's why they're in the states they're in.
I'm sure that's why they're in, but that's not why they get announced at the golf course. It has nothing to do with taxes. It has to do with their preference. So my question is, why do they prefer to be announced as Texans rather than their hometown?
I'm not sure. I'm
I don't
not
know
entirely
either.
sure. Okay.
That's just I happened to notice that the other day. I go, he's not from Texas. Why did he announce he's from Texas?
Who was it? Do you remember?
What the hell?
That's all right.
I don't remember.
My Schauffele call on winning the PGA worked out pretty well. I'm really happy about that.
Yes, I was ecstatic with him winning the PGA Championship because Bryson DeChambeau didn't.
Yeah, that's just it. Most people think of Xander Schauffele as maybe the most unlikable personality on the PGA Tour just because there's nothing cool about him. There's nothing to him. He barely smiles. You saw it all Sunday or Saturday if you watch the tournament. He doesn't have an
He's no
effusive
different than Scotty
personality.
Scheffler.
Scheffler has a little bit to him.
I was surprised Xander didn't have his family come out to the green after he won. I was surprised by that. So that lends itself to no personality kind of guy.
He's very vanilla. But the one person everybody would want him to beat is Bryson DeChambeau. And luckily he was able to do it.
Listen, I don't know what the future is going to be for the PGA Tour along with the Live folks, but Live, to me, in my opinion, has ruined this game forever. I hate Bryson. I hate Bill. I hate Dustin Johnson. I hate all of them. And if they all want to merge with the terrorist fund that they get paid by, I won't attend a PGA Tour event. I won't watch one unless my kid makes the tour someday. I can't stand Live, and I want all of those guys to just go the fuck away.
So if your child, when turns 19 and is offered $5 million guaranteed to go play the Live Tour,
That's going to be his choice. I hope he makes the right one.
and if he makes that choice, is he invited to Thanksgiving dinner?
Fuck no.
Though,
No, I don't want it.
Did we bury the lead by talking actual golf before talking about the
criminal justice?
ape shit stuff that went on Friday morning with Scotty Scheffler? Because I don't know about you guys, but I woke up at like 7 and the texts were coming in like 20 a minute.
Well, I'm rowing, so I have ESPN up on in the background, so I'm watching the crawl and I'm going, Scheffler arrested on unrelated to the fatality accident charges or detained. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, that is
What the hell?
He would be the last guy you would ever expect to get arrested during a tournament for anything.
I thought it was DWI.
My guess is it's the first time he's ever been arrested, detained, even interrogated for fucking anything in his whole life. I mean, he doesn't do
Why
shit
do
wrong.
other people have been arrested? I've never been arrested. Have you been arrested?
Yes, I've been arrested.
That makes sense.
And then to see Jeff Darlington on the spot.
Yeah.
And then basically he became part of the story. He is going to be part of the story. He's going to be part of the court case when it finally gets to court, if it does.
He'll be a
I'm
witness.
surprised that
He looked disheveled.
I would say.
Darlington did.
I was surprised that they haven't dropped the charges already.
Apparently, they're working on it. I read last night that they're moving towards that ending.
I read
and
that
I think
the other
that's
day.
what we all
Well,
expect.
I read that over the weekend, but now the court date got moved to June or whatever.
That's
so
the reason why, though.
Are they continuing this? Really?
The arraignment got pushed because I think they're going to be discussing a lot more about how to gracefully drop the charges, because there is a difference of opinions about exactly what happened to that officer.
So that's just it. And I
And no
don't
body
want
cam.
this to totally get blown under the rug, or that's not the right expression. Swept under the rug. I don't want it to be. I'm kind of curious how Scotty Scheffler managed to drive around a crash scene and then get into it with a police officer who grabs his vehicle.
I don't know if he was driving around the crash scene. I never got that impression.
No, he wasn't driving around the crash scene. So what was explained, what I took from that, he was third in line to get into the gate. Him, another vehicle, and then a tour bus, which had no driver in. And he's like, I've been told I get to go through. Yes, there's backup, but I'm credentialed. I get to go. I got to go. So he was driving around. The police officer who was there to do traffic control for the fatality accident had no idea about any of the entry controls for the tournament. So he was just doing his job.
Okay.
So Scotty holds up his credentials and keeps on driving. He's got fucking PGA Championship Valhalla sitting on the damn side of his vehicle. Now it is pitch black dark, so okay.
Yeah.
So he keeps on going, and the cop starts to run after him. And that's where the stories differ. He says he was hit by the vehicle. Jeff Darlington's carmate says he stumbled and fell as he was running.
That's a pretty big difference.
And then he reaches in, pulls Scheffler out, throws him up against the car, and puts him in handcuffs. And then Darlington gets accosted by the police and everything.
Much ado about nothing. It's gonna get dropped.
It's gonna get dropped.
Yeah.
It sounds my first reaction when I saw that story, and I still maintain this is, and obviously had to do with mostly due to the fatality that happened earlier. This is a simple case of overzealous police force.
Probably. That wouldn't be
Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last.
Yeah, and I mean the more amazing part of the story, away from all of that stuff at the course, was Scheffler starting his warm-up in the jail cell as he's watching coverage on ESPN about his own arrest.
And the guy goes out there and shoots 60 fucking 6. I mean, I said it at like 7:30 in my text chain. I was like, what's the over-under today for him? Is it still like 66? No, he fucking nails it. He goes 66. The guy is made of something different.
And then he
circuits
and
wires.
then he came back to earth on Saturday, though. I think
little bit.
all of that adrenaline, because he said he got to like Friday night, and he's like, I haven't eaten since before I teed off. Oh yeah, I guess I need to eat.
Yeah.
And for those guys and everyone who says, golfers aren't athletes, just shut up, because those guys have finely tuned bodies. They know what they're eating. They know what they're putting in on a regular basis. Scheffler is definitely one of those.
Yeah, he's not John Daly.
No.
What else you got there, Walt?
Did we finish up on the NBA?
No, we really didn't. I have a few thoughts on it.
All right, so I'll give you a Boston Pacers series. I think the Pacers. If I hear that the Pacers are not a very good defensive team one more time, I'm going to punch you, because if you didn't watch the series, but the Pacers are. I wouldn't say they're very
Pacers
good.
are not a very good defensive
but
team.
they're a very good defensive team as Bob steps into the other room. But they're better defensively than is said about them.
Yeah.
Indiana has enough to beat Boston. You got Siakam, Halliburton, you got Turner, you got McConnell, who's a pain in the ass. They got very good role players and a championship coach. I think the Pacers beat Boston. They'll definitely get a split because that's what Boston does. I would expect the Pacers to be in the NBA Finals.
Pacers 6 plus 625. If you want to put $100 on that, that would pay you handsomely. That's the biggest odds in any of these series. I disagree with you completely. I think the Pacers have gotten super fortunate for 2 rounds to have 2 teams that were completely banged up with their superstars. I don't think Indiana is a great basketball team. Halliburton still has this gene where he makes way too many mistakes for a point guard in creation. I think they're going to come up against a different animal. They were guarding basically an undersized backcourt in New York, and now they're going to go against
That doesn't matter.
They're going to go against
Jalen
a
Brunson's
jumbo
a superstar.
They're going to go against a jumbo lineup.
Jumbo?
Lineup in Boston. I mean,
Indiana steals game 1.
Okay.
Because Boston won't be ready.
Well, Boston takes a shit once a series, so
they'll be pushed. This will
I-
be 7-game series, and I expect Indiana to come
I said
away.
it last week, and I probably said it the week before. The only thing standing between the Celtics and the championship are the Celtics.
Oh,
Except for I
this is
I do
where
have
I
a feeling
differ.
on the Timberwolves.
the T-Wolves are built to play against the Celtics. I've said that for weeks. If they do not want to see the Wolves,
Okay,
because
then-
they have too many long guys and defensive players at the rim for Boston to be happy with that matchup.
Okay, then the only thing keeping the Celtics out of the championships are the Celtics. I'll modify it.
Okay.
And by the way, I can't stand Karl Anthony Towns. Oh,
You don't like anybody.
Who likes Karl Anthony Towns?
he's a slacker.
And who do you like? And who
He's a
do you
slacker.
like?
He likes the Knicks. That's
I like
it.
the. I mean, what's not to like with that team?
Karl Anthony Towns is detestable and has been his
Just telling
whole
you.
career.
Well, he's a big
He
part
is-
of what Minnesota does, isn't
He
he?
is a lazy shit. They've tried to get rid of him for 3 years. They just haven't found a deal. He has serious issues making dumb fouls. There's Karl Anthony Towns in foul trouble again. Second quarter with 3. There he is picking up his 4th. 2 minutes into the third quarter.
At half court.
It's every game.
Yeah,
It's
he does it
every
all the
game.
time.
He is
Stupid.
fucking
He's
dumb.
He's a stupid player.
He is.
Speaking of not stupid, the San Antonio Spurs with their 4th and 8th pick. To me, as we've talked about on the show last week, I'd like to see them make a trade. I don't know who's available, who they'll be able to acquire. But the more you think about it, this is something that the Spurs won't do because they don't skip steps. And by trading the 4th and the 8th pick for a veteran player that could speed up their process, that's not something they subscribe to. So the question is, will they not skip steps and draft 2 players, or will they speed up the process and deal 2 guys and get back a star?
You're correct. That is the question, right? But if ever there were a reason to do it, it's in this situation because Victor is showing that he's ready to win now. And it seems like Devin Vassell is just about ready to start winning now. I mean, you could see a complete roster overhaul this summer, couldn't you?
Yeah, but who are they going to put around him? I mean, are they looking for the next Doug McDermott they could put on the roster? Nobody wants Doug McDermott 2.0 on the
No.
roster. You want a superstar to be here, and with the 4th and the 8th pick and Keldon Johnson, I think you can get back somebody that's. Listen, as I said last week, you're going to acquire a player that doesn't have a great contract, and that's going to kind of stranglehold you a little bit because that's what's available. So will the Spurs go that route?
That would be
Which is-
Darius Garland,
which is a little-
$42 million.
Which is a little risky, or will they, go the way that they always go, and that is to draft 2 players that they believe in?
I just think this is exceptional circumstances. Look, you're not going to make a trade, and I'm not suggesting the Spurs should make a trade just to make a trade, just because 4 and 8 plus Keldon Johnson adds up to player X. You don't do it just because of that. You got to make sure that it's the right kind of player, that he fills the basketball holes that you have on the floor, and also that he fits in on the Wemby timeline, and that he fits in the Spurs locker room. You don't do the trade just to do the trade. But because I am not sold on this draft, those two normally, Walter, if I had a 4 and an 8 and I was the Spurs,
I'd keep them.
I would keep them 99% of the time. There's some extenuating circumstances for this summer because of the paltry draft and because of Victor Wembanyama's timeline that leads me to believe, they're probably looking to deal him. And there are allegedly teams that want to move up and grab some of the guys that are available or projected to be available.
I don't believe that.
At
You
4 and
believe
8.
that? You believe that teams want to trade up?
Absolutely. I think they're
Why would they
always
trade up when the draft is so vanilla?
Because every single year there's some general manager that falls in love with some guy ahead of where he should be drafted. Look, we're still a month away from the draft, so I don't want to deep dive too much on it. But I would tell you that I would say Risache and Castle are the 2 guys that I think the Spurs are probably eyeballing at 4 because they fit. They would fit.
Nobody knows who they're eyeballing because every time it gets mentioned, that's the guy that was in. They brought him in. That's the guy they're going to and that's not ends up being the guy. But I'll say this, if they go and draft in this draft that is not a strong draft by everybody's evaluation. Will you then have to add more to the mix to get back a player in a trade like that? I think you probably have to.
Yeah, I mean,
so maybe 4 and 8, Keldon Johnson, and you may have to throw something else in to bring
Wesley,
back. Who knows?
Who
wants to
throw
Blake
it
Wesley?
in? Well, the whole rest of the rosters. Who the hell wants them?
Well, the Spurs don't want Blake Wesley. Why would anybody else want him?
It's a great point, but you're right. They would probably have to throw in more. I agree. But you have 3 first-round picks next year in a strong draft. I can't see the Spurs adding 2 players on rookie contracts now and then doing 3 more next year.
You can't.
That's overhauling almost half your damn roster with 5 new players.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Won't happen.
Can't see it.
So, what do you think? Do they make a trade or do they draft?
I think they make a trade. I think at least one of those picks is traded.
I could go either way on this, but I'm going to go with what history has shown us. Because the Spurs always do what history shows them. I think they end up drafting 2 players.
No, that would be in line with what they've always done.
But that's not what the fans want. Clearly, that's not what they want.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not the same in my circles. In my circles, everybody wants them to draft both players.
Well, then they don't. Then they really don't know what the hell they're talking about because on one hand they want to draft those, and I agree with you, Jeff. They want to draft those 2 guys, but on the other hand, they want a championship tomorrow.
Right.
Well, that's not going to happen when you draft 2 guys. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Those guys are going to take 3 years to be a legitimate player. If they even become a legitimate player, and you're going to wait 3, you're going to let 3 years go by with Wemby on your team? I don't think so.
I was thinking about this last night, Walter, as I was realizing that one of these guys, Luka, Ant-Man, Halliburton, and Tatum, one of those guys is going to win probably Finals MVP, right?
And a championship
and
for
a
the first time.
championship to boot. Yes,
Yep.
and a first-time championship. That's right. And I thought, well, that's really like the next group of guys. That's like the next generation of guys.
Mhm.
Those four right there. And Ant being the youngest of them looks like, he's like even a different generation to me than Luka. But if you rewind this just a couple of years, I guess it started with the Giannis championship, or maybe it was the Kawhi championship in Toronto, where the LeBron James era and his guys, LeBron, KD, even Curry, where that era of guys really came to an end. I would say it maybe starts with Kawhi winning in Toronto, then Giannis gets one in Milwaukee, and now we have a new and obviously Jokic doing his stuff in. It's a new generation of guys taking over, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a transition going on of the new faces of the NBA, and Anthony Edwards is going to be the face of the NBA. I don't listen. I hate to take shots at San Antonio, but I'm just being
No, you
truthful
don't.
here. Wemby is not going to be the face of the NBA because the Spurs are never the face of the NBA.
Oh.
But Minnesota,
am I
but the
saying-
T-Wolves
Wait a
are.
minute, am I saying something that's not true?
The T-Wolves are.
I
I
d-
mean, look at how many superstars they've had up there in the North.
I don't think it's such a knee jerk. It's always going to be this way type of thing, and that's kind of what I feel I'm hearing. It's like nobody is ever going to be a star out of San Antonio.
No,
That's
I didn't say
bullshit.
that. I said the face of the NBA. He's going to be a superstar, but that doesn't mean that the NBA is going to focus on the
Why
Spurs,
not?
and because they don't want to. And why the hell would why would the NBA want to showcase San Antonio? They screw over the media constantly. Fuck the Spurs, in my opinion.
I think you're finding a conspiracy where there isn't one.
There's no conspiracy. That's the truth.
Ant-Man is going to be the face of the NBA. I agree with that statement, and probably more promoted than Wemby. But I don't think it's for the reason that Wemby plays in San Antonio and Ant-Man plays in that booming metropolis up in Minnesota. That's not it. It's Ant is American, and that matters.
I think that matters too.
Fucking matters.
Sure.
Replacement theory has come to the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, look, you see a lot of pushback against the Euros who have taken over the NBA.
True.
There is a lot of pushback.
True.
Ask Gilbert Arenas.
Ask Wemby. He didn't win Defensive Player of the Year when he clearly was the Defensive Player of the
Right,
Year.
they chose a Frenchman instead.
Because nobody has won Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. I think it was more he was a rookie than he was a Frenchman.
Walter's finding the conspiracy theories everywhere, huh?
Yeah,
It's not like conspiracy.
gunman on the grassy knoll.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't. Well, that is true.
Birds are not real.
Birds are not real.
Listen, I come down here for free, so suck my ass.
That's why we got to get you riled. Look, it's interesting. Those four guys, Luka, Ant, Halliburton, Tatum, they're coming, right? And where is Wemby in that hierarchy? Like of the next
As far
guys?
as what?
As far as the next guys. Like
Next guy should do what? To win a championship? To do what?
to take over the league. Yeah.
I don't, and like I said, with the history, when we go back to the history of the Spurs, the history of them is that, and even though Wemby is a different personality that they ever had before, I want to see it happen first, where he becomes the face of the NBA, where everybody, he's the spotlight and all that kind of stuff, where this franchise has never been the spotlight of anything, only in their own town.
I am going to bet against you on this.
Okay,
I think,
we'll see. See what happens.
I think the media world, the social media world has changed everything. You can be a star in Minnesota. You can be a star in Milwaukee. You can be a star in San Antonio.
I'm not saying that. You could be a star.
In 5
But is he
years,
going to be? Is he going to be a national star?
Yes, he's going to be a national star.
We'll see.
And I think in 5 years, you and I can come back and do this show for free again. And
Fuck that.
And I think him being a national star, yes. To Walter's point, him being the face of the NBA,
I think that's Ant.
that maybe is yet to be determined. It may be Ant.
We'll see. By the way, Wemby named first team All Rookie.
Duh.
So
Okay.
great.
In other news,
Yes, Michael Malone in his presser the other day.
The Nuggets coach.
Yeah, thinks he's smarter than the rest of the media. Another coach pop in waiting here with Michael Malone. Jesus Christ, I can't stand it.
Wait,
When-
I
when-
saw
you know-
this. He got asked a fucking asinine
It was
question.
not an asinine question. It was a
was.
great question.
What-
You're down 20.
You're
That
down-
that's it.
It was
another
does
coach
it
pop.
hurt more because you were down 20? And he's like, no, it hurts because we lost. I don't care about the conditions of the game. It fucking hurts because our season's over. That's why it hurts.
Here's my point. The coaches are the furthest things from perfect in this country. All right, so just answer the goddamn question, no matter what it is, and that includes Greg Popovich, who used to give me all kinds of shit anytime I asked him a question. And you know what? Papa's made enough mistakes on the court, so answer the goddamn question.
Well, no, I mean, both sides can be right. I mean, the reporters, those stupid questions, and yes, they are stupid questions, still need to be asked.
That's a
Because
stupid
that's your
question.
playbook.
That's a stupid question, though.
It's a lazy question.
Okay, it's a lazy question. Yeah, I mean, it hurts because we lost, not because we were down 20 and then eventually lost. I mean, I get what I think Michael Malone did answer the question. And it just occurred to me, by the way, that of that group, Luka, Ant, Halliburton, and Tatum, that SGA is also one of those 5 guys that are really coming.
And I don't agree with Halliburton. He's got some work to do first before he gets on that level.
But you're picking him in the series, which is crazy to me. SGA is coming. Did you feel like it was a bad loss for Oklahoma City? I'm hearing more and more people talk about how Oklahoma City blew it. And I didn't really feel that way. I felt like the Mavericks, look, I hate saying this because I really don't like Luka, and I've never liked the Mavericks for 1 second. I felt like the Mavericks went out and took that series. They changed who they were in their basketball DNA as a bad defensive team. They changed who they were. They became a rebounding monster and a better defensive team. And of course, they made the threes that they needed to make.
Made a couple acquisitions that were the key to their series, their season.
100%. And Oklahoma City, if you want to criticize Oklahoma City, don't criticize their players. Criticize the great Sam Presti, who is, by the way, a great general manager. There's no question about it. But with with an armory, no, there's no question about it. He's one of the best general managers in the NBA.
He hasn't won anything, has he?
No, he has not.
Okay.
That's a very good point.
Appreciate you.
But he has built some good teams. Presti with an armory of first round picks at the deadline screwed up and went and got Gordon Hayward, and he could have gotten Daniel Gafford.
But wait a minute, he's great. God darn it!
He makes mistakes. They all do. I know you don't, Paulie. Except for not showing up at the food truck that you were supposed to be at on Saturday.
Oh, that's not true at all. Actually,
did you hear about this, Bob?
No, there was a miscommunication between myself and the other person. It was a miscommunication.
My wife, who's okay. Do you want to explain it?
There's no explanation. There was a communication between myself and Miss Bexler about a couple of dates I was going to bring my food truck to.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, "Are you available the 18th?" I said, "Yes, I am." She says, "Could you do 11th and the 25th?" Something along those lines. I said, "No." I said, "Actually, the only date that I'm available is the 25th." So, there was never a confirmation of the 18th. So I just assumed that we were just talking about the 25th at that point. So there was just a lack of communication. That's
I
all.
see, like a mistake.
No, I don't think it was a mistake.
Like Sam Presti making a mistake in not going and getting Daniel Gafford at the trade deadline, and then Daniel Gafford fucking ruining the Oklahoma City Thunder with offensive rebounds in that series. They screwed up. Oklahoma City's going to really regret that. Now they're going to be back, and they'll be better next year. They'll get rid of Giddey somehow. That's a guy who's rumored to the Spurs. You want him?
No,
me neither. Can't shoot.
That should be their number one priority is shooters.
Yeah, Spurs are a bad 3-point shooting team.
All right, I got one more for you.
Okay.
Michael Jimenez, who is a sports talk personality here in town for a cup of coffee. I think he won the Rock the Mic was the contest on ESPN. I think that's what he won. He got his own show for a little while. So he posted something on social media the other day that it was interesting to me, and we've seen this before in San Antonio about there isn't any Hispanic representation in local sports radio here in San Antonio, and that's wrong. And we've seen that story before, whether it was, I think it was KSAT that was focused on with some Hispanic group.
Like an initiative to bring in more diversity?
Yeah,
What are we
something
saying?
along those lines.
Okay.
There's an actual group that is formed for this thing that looks into this stuff, which to me irritates me and offends me, because you should never be handed a job because of your skin color, your race, your religion, or anything else other than your merits. And
You should
I don't.
also not be not handed a job because of your skin color.
That's also true.
Yes. So that offended me, and he said, basically, this shouldn't happen in local sports radio in San Antonio. First of all, there's really only one sports radio station in San Antonio, and that's ESPN, because Ticket 760 doesn't employ anyone anymore.
They don't have any local programming.
No, Andy Everett does his show in the afternoons, and it's a different financial setup there, from what I understand. But they have zero payroll over there. So Mike was employed by ESPN. So my advice to Mike would be, go bitch to ESPN. You work there. Go bitch to them. They're the problem, as far as I see.
I could be missing something, but Michael Jimenez is probably Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
And he won a contest to get a show on ESPN.
He was employed, yes, by ESPN.
So
No longer employed by ESPN.
well,
but
that's okay. People get fired all the time. You and I did at least once, and it wasn't because because of anything
the
other.
Jew and the Yankee.
Yeah, it wasn't that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I don't
wasn't
think
that.
I didn't see a memo saying get rid of the Jew and the Yankee.
That's not how it went. And I'm guessing that Michael Jimenez wasn't fired for being Hispanic. I'm just guessing. I don't know the facts.
Yeah.
But when there are only 6 radio on-air sports jobs in San Antonio radio, is that right? 6, I think.
Is there 6? Well, there's a morning show over on ESPN, and there's an afternoon show over on ESPN.
Okay, that's 4. Sorry. Okay.
That's it.
It's awfully hard to, I mean, there also aren't any Pacific Islanders. I want to make that point.
There's no New Yorkers on the air either.
I mean, I don't know.
As I answered his post, I said, I've been on the beach so long, I've actually moved there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his complaint is.
And just to give you full transparency, I have given my resume and my tape and all kinds of stuff to ESPN multiple times when they have posted their job opportunities, and they have not only not hired me, but they've never even interviewed me. They've never even called me.
That sucks.
So that's their choice, and
Switching gears. Did you see that CD Sissoko of the Spurs came out and said he gotten depressed at the end of the season because of lack of playing time? He also said that he was playing like 148 hours per month of Call of Duty. CD, I think I know why you might be a little depressed. You're staring at a fucking screen all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he said something like the equivalent of 4 days a month he was spending playing Call of Duty.
4 days a month. That doesn't seem like a lot. Those guys got a lot of downtime. What else are they going to do?
4 entire days?
Well, it's not all at one time, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point.
Are you a player?
No.
Well, then how would you
Are
know?
you?
No, I don't play, but I understand people play.
There's one thing somebody told me a bunch of years ago is when you point your finger at somebody else, you got 3 of them pointing back at you.
That's right.
Maybe look in the mirror.
Yeah. Well, look, it
Talk
seems
about
like
I mean,
he's-
not to denigrate mental health issues, and maybe you do,
look,
but
he identified that was his problem. I'm giving him credit for identifying that. He said, I was spending too much time playing video games. I wasn't working on my body. I wasn't working on my health. Wasn't eating right. And I got
Oh,
depressed.
that's a problem. Well, that's a
okay. Well,
that's a
for
good
him.
addition to the story. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
he buried the lead.
Yes, he
I
He's a
think
good
it's cool.
journalist.
I think it's cool. Good for him. And I have high hopes for Sissoko.
So I have a question for you guys.
High hopes.
So I'm doing a ghost show tonight.
What does that mean?
It's a show about ghost hunters and shit like that. So do you guys believe in ghosts?
No.
Well, that was quick.
I do not. I do not,
believe
but
in Bigfoot.
I do respect people
You
who
believe
do
in
that
Bigfoot.
kind of stuff.
I do. I believe in Bigfoot. Yeah, my wife believes in ghosts, like wholeheartedly. I don't. Yeah, I believe in Bigfoot. I'm a big Bigfoot hunter.
You're a big Bigfoot hound.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, for years, I was a member of the Texas Bigfoot Research Organization, the TBFRO.
The what?
Yeah.
The TBFRO.
I'm serious. I was.
And then you had a mental breakdown and you thought you were spending too much time doing that?
Too much time playing Call of Duty.
You said duty. You remember, did you ever, I don't know how far
my
into
God.
the ghost stuff was, did you ever interact with Russell Rush back in the day?
No.
Why? Is he a ghost?
No, Russell Rush. Weren't you in the building when Russell Rush
Yes,
was in the
I know
building?
who he is.
Who obviously passed away, but
Oh, okay.
nevertheless.
What about his ghost? Is there a story about his ghost?
No, Russell Rush was known for doing his ghost hunting shows.
Oh, I don't know.
Award winning, in fact.
Okay.
Okay, nobody
All right,
cares.
I got to go to work.
Yeah, everyone's
This
got to
doesn't
go.
work for you?
No.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
All right. Anything
so-
else over there for me?
No, I got nothing for you.
What do you got?
This show has become a little contentious.
Yeah, it meant to be.
Yeah.
Here's Tony Barker.
You're just mad your Knicks are out of the playoffs.
I'm not
man.
mad. I'm happy.
You're
I'm
happy
happy
they're
I'm-
out.
No, I'm not happy they're out, but people would talk about how disappointed they were on Sunday. I wasn't disappointed because I didn't expect them to go any further than Sunday, even if they had won the game.
I
And
was disappointed for you watching that game.
I did.
I'll be
Well,
honest.
I didn't expect them to win on Sunday, but
It was-
when I heard OG was going to play, I thought, wait a minute now, I have to adjust my feelings because if OG's all of a sudden is healthy now, then maybe they have a shot to
5
not
minutes,
only win
5
on
points.
Sunday, but go on and beat Boston. But obviously that didn't happen.
and OG wasn't healthy.
He was not.
I think going forward, I think the interesting question is going to be if the Celtics don't go on and win the championship, is this season a failure for them?
I would say so at
They
this
will
point.
blow it up if it doesn't. If they don't,
So
they
we'll
got to
see.
win.
We'll
They
see.
have
That's
to.
a topic for another day.
Yep. All right. See you
Pressure's
guys
on.
next week.
Happy
Peace out.
Memorial Day.
Subscribe.
Happy subscribe.
How y'all feel out there? Do you feel good? I said, do you feel good? Come on. The groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. I said the groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. It feel good, don't it? It feel good. It feel good cause you know it's good.